Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 209 of the Classic Elite Podcast. My name is Scott. I've got Dustin over there chillaxing, relaxing all cool. What's up, man?
Shooting some b-ball outside of the school.
You're just... did you move a lazy boy into your office?
Close. My office chair reclines a bit, and I have a second office chair. That's all he likes to sit in, and I have my feet kicked up into it.
There you go. Nice. I missed the obvious joke of you recording next to the sun, so you're just in one of those beach chairs, by the pool. So, but yeah, this is a video game podcast. We'll be talking about news and what we have been playing. But before we get to that, Dustin, how's the week been, man?
Pretty good. I've been, I don't know, kind of just a little bit busy right before the kids go on break.
Gotcha.
And then it's going to be smooth sailing until January.
Wow. Gosh, you got like a mini break built in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as far as me, I don't know. My webcam just went kind of washed out. We'll just deal with that next week.
And it flipped.
It did. I don't know what happened. So... whatever. This is the trippy episode of the Classic Elite Podcast. As far as my week, it's been pretty low-key. Nothing, I guess, too exciting. I did... there were some Cyber Monday deals through Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
And so I picked up... I finally had a sous vide show up in my price point. Do you know what those are?
That's the things that heat water really slowly, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then you cook meat in it or whatever. No joke, man. I bought a cheap $6 steak from the store. It was like a New York strip, and it was the best steak I've ever cooked in my life. Now, I'm not saying I'm a great steak cook, but this is the best one I've ever done. It's wild how well it works. And it's neat. So it's been a fun new gadget to have around.
What did Dan Reichert call it? A Sausalito Vega?
I must have missed that joke. Was that recently?
That was like right when he got to Giant Bomb. And
it's kind of a
Drew
history. It fits San Francisco, like cooking in that method. Right,
yeah. Drew Scanlon mentioned something to him, and he couldn't remember what it was called, so he called it a Sausalito Vega.
That's awesome. So yeah, that's been cool. Some gadgets are always fun. Mm-hmm. And we'll see how next week goes. I'm almost scared to announce this publicly. I'm going to try to install a new toilet.
Ooh, all right.
That feels like real homeowner stuff, right?
Uh-huh.
Doesn't seem that hard.
I bet it'd be easy.
So I've got that to look forward to over this next week. But yeah, that's about it. Nothing, like I said, real exciting. We're kind of in the eye of the storm between Christmas and Thanksgiving. So... Mm-hmm. Nice and chilled right now, and I've been playing a lot of games, so I'm excited to talk about that, and there's some better news this week to get to as well. We do have a couple of quick things that I wanted to talk about before we get going in. Dustin, I was telling you before we started, I really started implementing LastPass, that software that I got through the Humble Bundle for password management.
Mm-hmm.
I changed my password using it, Giant Bomb, got myself a giantbomb.com really secure password. Totally didn't update LastPass correctly. So I clicked the forgot password thing. Never got the email. And then tried it again. Still never got the email. And I sent a little note to the support at giantbomb.com. And it was a really quick reminder that it really is a small team of dudes running that whole site. Because it was Matt Rory that emailed me back and was like, hey, just manually send it. Let me know if it works or not. And I'm just like, dude,
that's awesome.
To me, you're like a celebrity. It's just bizarre to have you answering my help ticket, But really quick to respond, really helpful. And we got it all sorted, all squared away. And it was really cool. And he actually asked, like, can you let me know if it worked or not? Not just, hey, it's... reset or whatever. He's like, could you confirm for me? So yeah. I don't know. It was great. So
that's sweet.
Good on them. Thanks for the help, Giant Bomb. Appreciate it. And then also, we got a nice random tweet from our old friend Retro Kaiser. since the last podcast.
Hey, all
Just
right.
said he really enjoyed it. He's been one of our friends since we first started, so it was really cool to hear from him. So thanks, thanks James Retro Kaiser. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, he's a good dude. So, all right, yeah, let's get into news, Dustin.
Alrighty.
Did you have a chance to go through some of the garbage I've tossed in here?
I
Since,
have not.
okay. So I'll just, I guess, kind of be asking stuff. I'm really bummed that you didn't, to a certain degree. Mike Matei from Cinemassacre,
Hmm.
he used Mario Paint to frame by frame recreate the intro to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon, and then that guy from RetroWare TV, Epic Game Covers or something like that.
Uh huh.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
He like edited the music and stuff together for it, so it times up well with the frames. If you listen for it, you can hear some skips,
Uh huh.
but they fit with they make the animation fit better, and it's really really impressive. I posted it over at the Retro League Patreon group on Facebook,
Hmm.
and Mike and Jeremy were going back and forth a little bit, wondering if he used the real hardware or if he used like an emulator to do it. Nonetheless, I'm super impressed either way.
This is excellent.
Isn't it unbelievable
It's
to watch?
awesome.
It took him like 6 months to do, and he said each frame is like a half hour to an hour.
Oh my gosh.
But it looks absolutely great, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So I will definitely have that linked in the description. Uh, I mean, if you're listening to us, then yeah, I'm sure you know who the Angry Video Game Nerd is. So,
Yeah.
all right, you know what, dude, this is kind of bugging me a little bit. I'm gonna see if I can somehow on air get that to stop being dumb. Nope. Okay, it was worth checking. So that's super awesome. Definitely go check that out. Again, I will have that in the show notes. Those are available at classicleet.com. Your podcast catcher, if you look, usually will have our stuff linked from our show notes. But if you're watching this on YouTube and you're curious, I'll have the link to our website with the show notes there for you to check out. And then next thing that I found interesting was the video game awards, I guess. I know, Dustin, you don't watch them. I didn't this year either. But it's I got a couple of quick thoughts. It's just it's a lot of just dumb commercial. It's a big giant commercial.
Hmm.
It's not about the awards. It's still very awkward. I don't know. I was more impressed with their first go at it. When Keeley kind of did it on his own a year or two ago.
Hmm.
But it doesn't feel like it's gotten better the way that I would want it to. So I don't know. It was just, I watched different people talk about it, and I don't know. Just, I'm glad I didn't spend 3 hours watching it.
Award shows in general aren't very good.
No, actually, not even in general. Even the MTV ones when we were kids and didn't know any better, with Howard Stern as
Yeah.
Fart Man, like those are even still bad.
Yeah.
So I agree with you, but
Kids' Choice Awards? No.
I mean,
I don't.
at least someone would get slimed in those. That's probably objectively the best of them all.
Right. Alex Mack comes up, says something, and then someone gets
Two
slimed.
episodes in a row. I love it. You know, I watched a episode of House since then, and I could not get Alex Mack out of my head every time. Cameron, I think's her name.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just like, oh my gosh, Dustin's like really fucked with me on this one. So yeah. And then one thing that really stood out to me was Run the Jewels was there. I've talked about them on the podcast before.
Mhm.
They're that rap group with the guy LP that I like a whole lot. And the thing is they played one of my favorite rap songs that I've heard in years. And whoever did the sound at the Video Game Awards it must have been an intern. They sounded terrible. And I've seen LP live in person. They should not be invited back. Whoever did the sound design sucked. And
Oh
even
man.
The guy that did the Doom soundtrack, he did a performance where he did his Doom music, and it was awesome.
Huh.
Sound balance, terrible. So yeah, whoever ported that sound, maybe it's extremely hard to do, and I'm being an asshole, but it was below par, I thought. What was another thing I had something else I wanted to say about it, but I guess maybe I'll think about it later. And then so Dustin, do you watch Jeopardy?
I don't know when it comes on here, but I used to. Jeopardy was my favorite.
I DVR it, so I always have some ready to go.
Word.
I'm watching this last week, or I guess probably Monday night. Yeah, I was watching Monday night's recording, and there was this really cute girl on there named Yi, and I'm like, man, she's really cute and she's smart. Like I thought she was funny, so I Googled her afterwards, and there's this Jeopardy fan page that outlines the contestants coming up for the week. This Friday, Laura Croft from Florida is going to be a Jeopardy contestant.
All right.
And I'm disappointed. I tweeted the official Tomb Raider account and Jeopardy wishing Laura good luck this Friday. Didn't get any love for it on Twitter. I thought it was pretty funny. But yeah, so Laura Croft, check it out Friday, December 9th, and
They probably just thought you were an insane person and ignored you.
Yeah, that's what most people do to us on Twitter.
Yeah, that's yeah.
And then also some amazing news. Shovel Knight is getting a prequel. Did you hear this?
I did not. Not until I saw it in the notes.
So it's a standalone. It's going to be called Spectre of Torment, and it's going to I think tell a story about how all of the knights got together prior to kidnapping Shield Knight or whatever.
Okay.
And Spectre Knight is who you play as, of course. And it's free, according to what I haven't heard this confirmed anywhere else, but I trust the guys. Dan at Don't Copy That Floppy said that he heard it was going to be a free update.
Cool.
Which is in line with what they've done in the past. So if you already own Shovel Knight, to get a prequel for free, I almost want to buy it again. But I own it on 3DS and PC. I think I've done my part. But if they sold a standalone, I'd buy it if it was DLC. So
yeah, totally.
I'm excited about that. And so I guess they've redone some of the levels and some of the bosses and stuff. So it'll be a good excuse for you to get Sully to get back into playing it now that he's getting better and better at games.
Mm-hmm.
Like to have some fresh levels for him to play kind of early on will be cool for him. And you, because it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
And then next in the news, Last Guardian's out. Dustin, do you care?
I do. I'm not like super duper excited, but hearing people say that it's good and it's what they expected, that's what I wanted. So I want to pick it up.
I don't. Oh, you are? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I never played Shadow of Colossus or Eco. Did you play those?
I played Eco. I played through it once and enjoyed it.
Okay.
I played through Shadow of the Colossus a couple of times. That was really good.
I have the that like PS3 HD thing that they did.
Oh, you should play through that.
So I need to play that, and it'd be great because I have the PS3 in the bedroom, so I can play that a little bit, tell some stories, before I go to bed or whatever.
Yeah.
Lately, that's been Mario Galaxy 2, though. That's been my unwind game. I'll play level of Mario Galaxy 2. It's been awesome. Dustin, it's been getting good reviews. Like you said, it's good to hear that it's kind of what people were hoping for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I heard Alex talking about it on Giant Bomb.
Mm-hmm. And
just the way he was talking about it, I was like, yeah, this is good. It's the only thing I was really worried about is people saying like, yeah, this game's trash. It's not that. I'm glad.
Jim Sterling was pretty, critical of it. Probably as harsh as you'll get for it. He was pretty agitated by things that were pretty clunky. Whereas more people are being a little more lenient or forgiving or didn't have the same clunkiness experiences as him. But it's Yeah, definitely go read like the nines at like GameSpot or Kotaku or whatever. Check out his stuff, and you'll get a good idea of whether or not it's going to be a game for you.
Yeah.
I'm very relieved for the fans, though. I mean, waiting that long for a game and it actually being
Right.
pretty good, like,
They're like the Cubs fans of video games.
right? I don't think anybody expected a lot out of Duke Nukem, but like,
Right.
but these fans really love those games.
Yeah.
So good for them. I'm very happy for them. So this is annoying, Dustin. Will Ferrell has been cast in a movie, and he's going to be playing a competitive gamer, an eSports guy. I don't like any Will Ferrell movies except for Step Brothers. Do you like any Will Ferrell movies?
The other guys was okay.
Don't think
Like
I saw it.
I watched it and I was like, meh, okay, that's kind of funny. I laughed at some things. The Step Brothers was the same way.
I guess I just never see what the big deal is. I don't know. It seems like Jim Carrey, like obvious, like a one-trick pony kind of thing, but people love him.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, since he always has such like a sarcastic take on it, it'll be a movie that it'll probably flop, but the hardcore,
Yep.
the hardcore Will Ferrell fans will see it, and it'll just cement their beliefs that what you and I are doing right now is utterly retarded. So, like, whatever. We
I'm
have
glad I found out about this here.
what now?
I'm glad I found out about it here. It's not going to be like when I saw the Pixels trailer.
Mm-hmm.
It starts out and then actually like
Oh, that looked good.
it looked good, and then I saw Adam Sandler and I was like, oh, well,
Happy Madison's not going to be any good. We have someone joining us in chat on Twitch. Hey, Yora, what's up? If you'd like to join us live when we record, we do that on Wednesday nights. We usually start by 8:30 Eastern. You can tune in by 8, hopefully, and you'll catch the whole show. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not real optimistic about it. Maybe it'll be okay. I'm assuming that it'll be a misguided show with lots of obvious dumb jokes, and I'm gonna set the over under on Rotten Tomatoes at 39%.
okay, I like that.
So,
I'm gonna go ahead and predict that there's going to be lots of shots in people's basements because that's where gamers live.
there will be they will be at some sort of a convention center, and he's going to have one of his Saturday Night Live cheerleader outbursts
Mm-hmm.
while wearing a headband, almost assuredly, probably wristbands.
Probably be a Dorito Mountain Dew tie-in.
Something along those lines. Definitely a windbreaker.
Yeah.
Some sort of obnoxiously branded headphones, of course.
Mm-hmm.
All of the RGBs in his keyboard.
Oh yeah.
You think they'll touch on the Adderall? You think they'll get to the drugs?
If there is any, it's gonna be like he accidentally eats weed cookies or something.
Okay, yeah, it won't be like for the competitive advantage stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you think they'll go as far as South Park did and have him wearing like wrist guards from carpal tunnel from clicking all day?
Oh man. Yeah, I could see that.
They'll definitely be in a dorm, like an esports house.
Mm-hmm.
They'll have a dumb name. How long is the flashback to his childhood going to be? Less than 5 minutes, or will it just be one thing in the beginning with one flashback later, or will it be consistent?
I'm gonna say a cool 14 minutes
Okay, total.
total.
Okay, not like Superman 1 where he's actually Clark Kent for an extremely long time.
Right.
Everybody just remembers, the. It wasn't Zod in the first one. Oh, it's just Lex Luthor. Everybody remembers that and him having the kryptonite and stuff. But it's like a half hour of him in like high school and character development, and which I love. It's great. Like, don't get me wrong. There was a lot of love and detail put into it, but That's what it was. So yeah, any other thoughts or predictions on Will Ferrell starring in a esports movie?
At one point, he'll be in his underwear.
Yeah, okay, yep, absolutely. The only thing I'm not sure of is how big's his fro gonna be. Uh, that's the wild card here. So all right, well, and then
Not
moving
so
on.
big that you can't see the Beats by Dre logo.
Oh, will they go? That's not even gaming, but that's the biggest brand of
Yeah.
headphones. I bet it will be Beats. Beats was even in the Book of Eli. An iPod and
Oh
Beats,
yeah.
which is funny because Apple ended up buying Beats, but that wasn't the case at that time in the movie. But they product placed together.
Yeah.
Denzel and Gary Whitta, they knew what's up.
Gary, what write that?
Yeah,
I did not know that. That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. That's what has me very hopeful for Rogue One,
Cool.
since he was, one of the screenwriters for that. Nora in chat says, yeah, don't forget about the headband while playing. Absolutely. Yeah, and then also PSX happened, so there was a couple of
Yep.
things to talk about. You've got something here. That's
The
pretty
the
cool.
the one thing that I saw and got excited about was Last of Us 2 was announced. It looks to be a continuation of Joel and what's her face from the
Ellie?
Avengers, Ellie. Uh, and it's a cinematic trailer, all CG looks. Uh, the world is still dead, and they killed some people at one point. And she's playing guitar, so that's actually a cool callback because
Be careful. This
that's
is
the
gonna.
conversation that they have
Oh,
in the
okay.
game.
Cool.
That he says that when all this is over, I want to that he knew how to play guitar, and when all's over, he'll teach her how to play guitar.
And okay, that's rad. I will. I think this is gonna motivate me to play it. I know it's not a long game, and I have it. I should just play it, right?
What do you have it on?
PS3. Everyone says get the
Okay.
PS4 one because of the loading times and the frame rate's better. Which I may do. I don't know. We'll see. But I need to play it regardless. I mean, it's Naughty Dog. It's
Yeah.
one of the best games of the last generation of games. So, your comments in chat and says The Last of Us Part 2 looks graphically amazing, but parts of it looked. And parts of it looked pretty repetitive, but overall, probably a great game. So yeah, I don't know. I need. That's definitely. I'm embarrassed that I haven't gotten to that one.
It's good.
So cool. And then I guess Tony, that's kind of it for news.
Did you just call me Tony?
I did, but I read Tony in the chat or in the notes. My bad.
It's all good.
So yeah, I mean, as far as God, it's really bugging me that I can't remember the one thing about the Game Awards that I wanted to mention.
Keeley.
I got tip of the tongue syndrome so bad.
Think of something random.
Think of something random. Oh, so I shifted away and it'll come back to me. That almost happened when I was looking at the Channel of the Week stuff. But this week, Channel of the Week. What'd you say?
What's the capital of Antarctica?
Is it Juneau? No. Yes.
That's Alaska.
Yeah, what'd you say?
Antarctica.
Oh shit! It's Antarctica, right? It is a capital. It's a continent, a capital, and a country.
It's the capital of the world.
And a state. It's everything. Ask Morgan Freeman when he's tripping on penguins. Did that take place? I don't even know. That might even have been the North Pole. I don't know. So I never saw that movie, the Penguin movie.
Happy Feet?
March of the Penguins.
No, March of the Penguins.
I heard it was really good.
Happy Feet was the sequel.
Wait, legitimately? Or is that a dad joke?
That's just that joke.
Okay. So, and as far as YouTube channel of the week, there's a really funny PC builder. He's changed his channel name to Bitwit. It's Kyle. He used to be at Newegg, I think. He was buddies with that Paul guy from Newegg that taught like everybody our age how to build a PC. If you were building a PC like 5 years ago, they're buddies. And it used to be called Awesome Sauce Network, but he just he does really good. He's just funny. He just cracks me up, and he's a PC nerd.
Sweet.
So I would definitely recommend checking him out. Kyle seems like a very cool guy, and I enjoy his content quite a bit. So it's Bitwit. Go check that out. Good stuff. Also, I noticed that Tony and Damez have recommended some people. So we're going to be keeping a list of recommendations of people for us to check out. So we'll eventually get to your recommendations. But until I get through like my list of channels I really want to give a shout out to, then we'll come around and get to some of the ones that you guys are talking about.
Yeah, eventually we will need a backlog.
Yeah, because I only subscribe to so many people.
Yeah.
I did, dude, I watched a fascinating video today by this name that I can't pronounce. Like, I don't know, but it was about the year, like how our calendars track. And it's beautifully done. The channel's huge. They have like 3 million subs. And it's like animated stuff. It's really cool. But the whole premise was how backwards our calendars are. And why it doesn't really make sense for us to have the ADBC system. Because it really skews the way that we think about our development as people. And so it should really be, there's always 10,000 years before of BC and then, 2,000 years of AD or whatever. So they're saying, no, add that 10,000 years on. Well, they didn't say it. Some guy they cited did. And they made a whole calendar of 12,017, which is the real year. And it was a way to support their YouTube channel. So I bought a calendar of the year 12,017 to hang on my fridge. And it's got really neat artwork in it. It's all cartoony and cool looking. And I'm going to have it on my fridge. And anybody that takes a look at it, it's going to be like, you are the biggest nerd. I'm going to go, yeah. It just,
man, the year 12,000. That sounds way cooler.
It sounds so cool. It also puts into perspective, like, they were making tools out of stones, like smacking them on rocks. And only 12,000 years later, we're doing this and uploading it freely. Like, just a lot of magic happening now. Wild stuff. So I don't know. I thought it was funny and a cool way to support channels. So I'm also one of those nutbags that I think Justin Robert Young said it best on a podcast he was on recently. He's like, yeah, time zones, bullshit. You know what time it is? Whatever my iPhone says it is right now. He's like, I'm on iPhone time. Some people try to calculate it in their heads, talk about what time it really is, how their body's not adjusting, the amount of sleep they lost. He's like, that's all bullshit. It is what time your phone says it is. I'm like, you nailed it, man. Absolutely. If everybody around you is always on the same time, it's all fine. So just expand that to the world. But yeah, I don't know. I thought it was pretty funny. All right. Well, Dustin, what have you been playing, man?
I'm still stuck in the year 12,017.
You want that calendar now, right?
Yeah. One podcast stands against them all. So I've been playing. Okay, first off, I tweaked my setup a little just before we started recording.
Okay.
And I'll tell you what, it's really hard to find AV stuff in things that aren't the internet. Like I went to Target and they had almost nothing, but they did have the HDified Dead Rising for PS4 for $10. So I did buy that.
Okay. Wasn't a wasted trip.
Right.
You can only get composite cables and splitters and stuff with a 3.5 millimeter jack on the end of it.
Yeah.
And
I was actually kind of lucky because that's what I was looking for.
And wildly expensive HDMI cables.
Yeah, if you want those gold-plated monster.
Gold-plated. I mean, even at like the bargain, like a 6-foot one's like $20 at Walmart, and it's like, this is $3 on Amazon. How are you getting away with this?
You can get like a 30-foot HDMI cord from. Oh my god! I just completely blanked on the website.
Slick Deals.
It's kind of like Slick Deals.
Cowboom or whatever that is.
On the internet. Damn it. I completely blanked. I'm not going to try and remember on live.
Think of something different. Think of something random. I'm glad it happened.
The capital of Djibouti is Djibouti. That didn't work. Um, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, I went to Best Buy and I got a bunch of 3.5 millimeter extension cords
Okay.
because I put one in my TV and now I can hear my game audio on my headphones and I don't have to worry about it leaking over onto my mic when I stream. And now I can actually hear video games when I play them, which is useful
Yes.
when you're playing video games. Uh, at first, I didn't think it worked because I thought because I have it like clearly going from my component to my hog capture, and I didn't hear anything when I plugged them in,
Mm-hmm.
and for a second there I thought it wasn't going to work, but it comes over the Hopog clear. It wasn't coming over the speakers because it went over the headphones instead.
Okay.
So the audio is being split over the two devices, so it's good.
Gotcha. Okay, just to jump in real quick, we have a trivia question almost in the chat from Yora. They're asking to guess what time zone they're in. It is currently 2:30 a.m. And so I know London is 5, so England, I'm going to guess they are somewhere in England or possibly Spain. But what do you think? Because 6 for you, right? Isn't London 6 for you?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that.
Go with. I'm gonna go with. No, I'm gonna go a little. I'm gonna go Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland. So Yora, let us know. Are you going? Are you going England?
Portugal.
Portugal. There you go. Good one. We went a slightly obscure.
Yeah.
Portugal is a good one. It still baffles me that
Drumroll, please.
Brazil speaks Portuguese.
Right.
Like that's such a cool. Ports were everything back then. You know, Manchester. England. I almost said that. Just well, Man U. My buddy's a huge Man U fan. Hopefully you are
Manchester
as well.
United.
Manchester United. I don't know if nice little game there. So I hope you weren't offended by me saying Northern Ireland. You wouldn't be unless you're Catholic, right? Are they the Protestant ones?
I think so.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, that's a fun game. Trying to trick us with our trivia, or our geography, I mean. So you got your setup working. That's good. So you have more reason to stream since it's going to be easier.
Mm-hmm. I'm afraid I'm going to yell into my mic while I'm streaming, though, because I'll have earbuds in.
I don't think you will.
Maybe I'll do it just to be funny. That's not funny. That'd just be annoying.
You won't publish it. You're like, I shouldn't have done that.
That's stupid.
So, since you've got this all set up now, what have you been using to take advantage of it?
Oh, I actually played some Sonic Adventure this time.
Okay.
Like I sat down with Solly and we played some. And that game is pretty fun. It's pretty cool.
Really?
Yeah, I've never actually played it, despite the fact that I've owned it for like 6 years.
I had a burnt copy of it back in the day. I thought it was okay. It's worth getting into, though?
Yeah, I think so. It's a pretty ambitious game. I didn't realize it at the time. It's actually a lot more ambitious than some of the games that are released nowadays. Because it basically has a hub world, and it takes its name literally. It's an adventure game with Sonic in it. Kind of going around finding different worlds to go through and finding different stuff.
That's cool. And considering what Nintendo did with Mario, I do think this is a good kind of analog to that. You know, they needed some sort of an answer eventually to their marquee character being in it, and I mean at the time it was quite good. I'm drinking Sam Adams Winter Lager. Nothing exciting. It's just in a cooler can.
I think they're asking do you have like a koozie around it?
Yeah. It's one of those like vacuum sealed ones that keeps it cold for a while.
Yeah.
Because what I like to do is while I'm waiting for you to sign on to Skype and I'm listening to whatever music I'm going to play at the end of the episode, I enjoy a beverage while I'm waiting. But I don't want to crack beers open while we're recording. So I open it and keep it in this koozie, and I'm good to go, even if we end up having a really long episode.
That's smart.
Yeah. Now I got the cool thing about this one though is it's got the little dent, so it'll fit more in a cup holder.
So when you're driving.
No, yes. Should have prefaced it. This is for golf. The push cart that I use has a cup holder, and some of these style of koozies don't taper at the bottom, so they don't fit in the cup holder. Uh, yeah, it's like my beer's cold while I'm I'm working. So, yeah. So, but Sonic Adventure. I'm are you able to use S video for or do you just have the composite to your Dreamcast?
I think I have both, but my upscaler thing that I have doesn't like the S video.
You know,
Or it does like the S video, the Hog doesn't. Maybe it's the same kind of thing with the HD Retrovision cables.
okay, yeah. I think you're probably right. I also had trouble with S video with the Pog, one that I had. HD Retrovision, though, the guys that did the cables on Twitter posted this amazing video about this. It's like a 20-minute video where this guy did this unbelievably awesome mod on his Nintendo to get straight RGB out of his NES, but he modded it so that it had the Super Nintendo controller or the Super Nintendo and GameCube input and whatnot. So an HD Retrovision cable would now work with his NES and get him true RGB. And RetroRGB.com sells an RGB NES motherboard that allows you to put that motherboard into your system. You take the PPU, which is the picture processing unit, in the original motherboard, unsolder that, take that chip out, put it in the RGB board, and then that allows you to get true RGB signal out of your NES games. Basically, kind of in a very similar way to what I'm doing with the AVS without any modding or anything. But what he did was someone 3D printed the harness for the video and audio out, and he meticulously sanded and drilled this perfect clean box, and then he engineered these braces to keep things intact so that he had a very flush, clean, professional looking setup. He didn't want a bunch of IO. It was brilliantly done and so informative. If you're a video nerd about old stuff, I would highly recommend it. I'm embarrassed. I will put it in our show notes. I'm embarrassed I forget the name of the channel and the video at the moment, but I will have that linked. It's really, really good. So, yeah. So, I'm sorry to interrupt. You said
No,
Steve from HE Retrovision was also mentioned. He developed a little mod at the end of the video, so there was a little bit of inside track there. But I mean, I think that's the most fascinating stuff with these super smart dudes figuring all this stuff out and then so professionally displaying it on YouTube for people like us to watch.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful to get to watch that stuff, and it's so good. So
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So
my Christmas game. I streamed one of our Christmas games. It is it has nothing to do with Christmas itself, but it reminds me of Christmas. It's Gundam Side Story 0079 Rise from the Ashes, and it is also on the Dreamcast. And I picked it mainly because I never hear anybody talk about it.
I'm not familiar with it.
Nobody ever talks about it when the Dreamcast comes up. I don't think many people played it. Xeric actually played it, and he said he liked it. He didn't remember it until he saw my video. But it's a Gundam game where you pilot a mobile suit, and it's a first-person view. You're in the cockpit.
Okay.
And it's a first-person dual-stick game before dual-stick controllers were a thing.
Oh,
so
how'd that work with Dreamcast?
You move your head with the analog stick.
Okay.
and you move your body with the
Like A, B, X, Y buttons or whatever.
you think, but you actually have your movement on the analog, no, the digital pad. So both your movements are on your left hand.
Yeah, I was gonna say my pick.
It's not the best. That's why there's a lock on available.
Okay, kind of like Z-Lock and Zelda or something like that. You can
Yeah, so
like
you can lock on and then strafe.
okay,
But yeah, that game is great. It's you automatically like if you know anything about Gundam, beam sabers are where it's at. It's like this giant lightsaber being wielded by this enormous mech.
like what you see in Voltron or something like that.
Right, and
Okay,
then you like whenever you get close enough to an enemy and an enemy mobile suit, you automatically pull your beam saber out. And this came out at a time when Gundam Wing was really popular
okay.
on what you call it, Toonami.
Like okay, yeah, I was gonna see either Toonami or like that. It was Toonami on Fox. It was like
It
after
was
school
Cartoon
stuff.
Network.
Cartoon Network. Okay, Fox
Yeah.
also did some anime stuff too. At least I think they did. Maybe it was like CW or WB or one of those. So
And man, I got super into it at that time because they played like they started with that and then they played like 0079 War in Pocket and like 0080 and like I have all those on DVD now. They're awesome. I
cool.
love watching those. So man, I got super duper into this game and played it a lot. And it's really great because when you first play it, you are kind of weak all the way throughout the game compared to everything you face.
Okay.
But then when you get to start over, it's New Game Plus and you get like all this crazy cool stuff.
Awesome.
You get like a beam rifle, you get your mechs are your mobile suits are upgraded. They're Vernier engines so you can dash longer because you have
Oh,
you overheat eventually and you have to stop. Um Yeah, man, it's such a good game. And it's really funny because I started playing it and I remember the way I played it when I had everything unlocked and I like kept dying and I wasn't doing well and I was like, man, maybe this game isn't as good as I remember. And eventually I remembered like, hey, you can go in and you're part of a team. So you have your Fang 1 and you have Fang 2 and Fang 3 who are your buddies in
okay.
mobile suits and you have a little like tank that follows you that acts as intelligence gathering.
But can you command these guys to like
Hmm.
flank or group up behind you and stuff?
It's not that good,
Okay.
unfortunately, but it is good enough to say like, you guys go double up on that one mobile suit. I'm going to take care of this guy, and then I'll meet you guys back up,
Okay.
and we'll take on this guy three at a time,
That's so cool.
and divide and conquer. And your little tank lady, she does like sonar sweeps. So like when you first get there, it's total like fog of war. You don't know who's where.
Hmm.
But she does a sonar sweep and she'll ping and she'll show you where all the mobile suits are. And that's when you can say, "Hey, go kill that guy."
Cool.
But yeah, like it was like an emotional roller coaster playing this game because I was like high on it because I was like, man, this game is awesome. Nobody ever talks about it. And I was like, oh, I'm not doing so well. Maybe this game isn't as good. And I started using tactics. And I was like, yeah, this game is
This is
great.
great.
I liked it even better.
Hell yeah. So, you're in chat. Also has a couple of other questions. They ask who's streaming this, or is it a shared account? You're really enjoying the content, so thank you. It's just us. We're a YouTube channel and podcast, and I'm just streaming it from my computer. So no, it's not like a shared account or anything. Maybe like don't copy that floppy or Biff McSkylark or somebody's hosting us. I don't know, but yeah, just me in my house, Dustin hanging out in Tennessee. I was talking
Yep.
about games. And they've got also a really good question. What's your favorite controller, past or present? I'm going to cheat. I'm going to do both. I really like the Sega Genesis controller a lot, the original 3-button. And as far as modern, I really, really love the Xbox One controller, the one that came with the S.
Hmm.
I absolutely love it. So I'm going to go with those. If I had to choose, I would probably go Xbox One, just because it's so versatile. But this new one is just awesome. if the GameCube wouldn't have aged so poorly, I like the ergonomics of it, but I don't like the triggers anymore, and I don't like the C button, the way that operates.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. What about you?
I think the NES.
You like that? Awesome. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's like the quality of the buttons and the D-pad is perfect, and it was enough for the games that were being made for it.
Mm-hmm.
And like even Castlevania, like people kind of found a way around, like, okay, we have these sub weapons. How do you use that? Up and B, because you don't hit up any other time because it's your side scroller.
Yeah.
If not that, then probably any iteration of the DualShock, including the PS4 one.
Okay. Well, that's a lot of them. That's kind of cheating, but yours says that probably the PS2 and now the Xbox One Elite, definitely. I'm gonna say neat is definitely the Steam controller. The versatility has been wild. I love that controller, but it's not. I mean, it's weird. It's
Yeah.
2 trackpads or whatever. So yeah, good question. If you have any others, definitely ask away. We are always up for answering questions.
And I just want to say shout outs to Yora for not being a troll.
Yes.
We get so many troll commenters, it sucks. I mean, we don't mind super much because like they give us views, but like when people actually engage and have actual questions, that's so much better.
It's so much more fun that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've been lucky. We have a nice handful of people that pop in and out. So, yeah, thanks for sticking around. Glad you enjoy it. Very nice of you to say. So, yeah, also you've been busting into some Sega. No, this isn't Sega Genesis. This says HD.
Yeah. Solly was in here and he wanted to play a video game, and I was like, okay, what do you want to play? And he's like, I don't know. And I was like, okay, cool. So I turned on the PS3 and was just scrolling down what I have on my hard drive at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I happened upon Castle of Illusion HD.
I forgot that they re-released this recently. Like within the last 3 years or so.
Yeah, and that game is excellent.
Yeah?
It's great. Like, it is such a good platformer. It feels awesome.
Do you think you like it more than the original?
I haven't played the original enough to have an opinion.
Okay.
But man, this one, so good. Actually, since I bought, I don't know how it might be a PS Plus. I might end up losing this recently or pretty soon, since my PS Plus is about to stop. But I got the like HDified Genesis version too. Like they released it as like a promotion.
Oh, that's pretty rad. And did it go like widescreen, or is it just like crisp pixels?
It's just crisp pixels, 3x4 or 4x3.
Yeah, awesome.
But yeah, Castle of Illusion HD is fantastic.
So like what? I mean, you'll say. I mean, there's obvious things like you enjoy the way that it feels, but I mean, what are some of the mechanics that are jumping out to you? Because I always remember it having a little bit of that iffy platform syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Those 16-bit platformers. Sometimes the art wasn't accurate to the actual platforms.
Mm-hmm.
Did it have anything like that? Or
this
I
is
guess
spot on.
Yeah, and
it feels good. You have apples that you can throw.
Okay, yeah.
You can jump on enemies, and anything you can jump on, if you hold the B button down, like you jump on it, and you get like the bounce off is so much higher.
Oh, okay.
So you jump on something and you jump high, you bounce high, and you can just like bounce on different enemies in a row, and like you wait, you hit an enemy, and it bounces you up to this ledge you wouldn't have hit otherwise, and there's lives up there. There's you start out with 3 stars of life with a possible 5 stars, so you get like you can pick up other stars and fill your life up to 5, so you can take extra hits. There's diamonds to collect, which opens up different levels. If you go up to if you bounce up to some parts, the explorations rewards you with bonus stages where you get like cards, and like it's good, man. It's really good.
What about bosses? How are the boss fights?
They're really good. They're old school. They have a life bar, 5 hits, and they have
Okay.
like a really good predictable pattern of like they will like the first boss is a tree boss, for example. He
Okay.
will go on a side and roll at you, and you jump over him and he'll roll back because it's kind of like a quarter pipe on the other side.
Okay.
So he goes up and he comes back, and when he comes back, he hits the other side of the tree and dizzies himself. And then you can bounce on him, and eventually he like gets mad at like the third or fourth time, and he starts bouncing towards you. So he changes
Cool.
it up, and then he shoots towards you, and it's a really good platformer.
I have access to that somehow. I might have the cart. I might either that or maybe that collection, the Genesis collection on Steam, maybe had it.
Yeah,
I could have sworn I had that somewhere though. I need to dust that off, or I need to try that again. That and when you brought up Quackshot recently,
yeah,
like I'm
man,
like
Quackshot is excellent.
just I like those Disney games.
It
And
reminded me the HDified version reminded me of the DuckTales remaster.
okay,
That's how about what it feels like.
they didn't waste a lot of time on cutscenes.
There's I think there's a lot of narration, like it's being narrated like a storybook,
Okay.
but I don't think it pauses you.
Oh, do they do any? And I don't remember this. I know there's kind of like a woodsy type of area. I think,
Mhm.
but are there? I guess are the levels themed on other things that we've seen Disney or Mickey in, or they just feel like kind of Disneyified generic levels?
I think you're thinking of Mickey Mania, where it's like a Steamboat Willie episode or
Yeah, yeah.
level.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely what I'm thinking of.
This one is just like you start out in woodland, and then it goes to like a Toyland,
Okay.
and then what's the next one? I don't remember. Yeah, I think it's just kind of generic levels.
Okay. Nora asks how often we stream. We stream weekly on Wednesday nights. Sometimes that changes. We're a little inconsistent, so follow us on Twitch and you can join us live. But also, we archive everything over on youtube.com/classic leet. That's classic L337. So you can subscribe to our YouTube channel and watch the archives. Those usually go up on Friday, either on my lunch break or when I get home from work on Fridays. So
We also over on the YouTube channel we also stream video games.
yes, we really don't stream over here very much. We get more
Right.
interaction over on YouTube. Plus, we like having the archive over on YouTube since most of our content is over there. So it's my week, Dustin. I'm undecided on which of the two games I'm going to be playing, but I do have one quick question though for you before we get to your next thing.
Okay.
So one of the things I'm going to play is the Famicom disc version, if I can get it working, of The Legend of Zelda.
Okay.
Do I play from a new save or do I continue where I'm at? Because I'm near end game. I think I have dungeon maybe 7 and 8, and then isn't 9 Death Mountain, or is there only 8? I think there's 9, right?
I think you're right. I think 9 is Death Mountain.
So I need to get like the yeah. I definitely I know the dungeon that I'm at right now is the one where you have to use the whistle at the lake, and I'm pretty sure that's 7, or the pond, you should say. You know, next to the fairy sprite or whatever. So, yeah. So should I stream like to the end of it, or should I guess do my quickest speed run to get kind of as far as I can?
I say start from where you are
Okay, because people have seen the
because
beginning, right?
that was exactly my logic. People are have like they're sick of seeing the beginning, if anything.
And I'm thinking if it takes me an hour or two, maybe chat will be able to engage or whatnot, or ask questions. Like, how'd you do this? What order did you go in? Blah, blah, blah. You've missed this, clearly. But it's crazy. I know where all the hearts are. Like, I don't even have to. So I always will get like I'll go beat the first dungeon. Then I'll usually grind for rupees. Then I'll go
Hmm.
get that ring. Because there are spots that once you have the flame, you can go get like 100 rupees from one of the goblin guys or whatever in certain
Yeah.
places. So it's really easy to get that, and then I'll get the ring thing to make me blue so that I'm harder to kill. And then I just go find hearts with bombs until I have enough to get the white sword, and then I go
Yep.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I think after 5 I can go get the master sword in the graveyard
Yeah.
because I've collected all the other hearts available.
Yeah.
Like once you get the raft, you can get the last heart that's over on an island. So
Have you ever? Is it Dungeon 8 where you can get the master key,
I think so.
and then
Yes,
you don't have to worry about all the locked doors?
correct. But actually, um, since I know the dungeons so well, I have a surplus of keys. Like I'm at level 7, right? And I have 3 or 4 keys in my inventory, and I haven't
Right on.
bought any of them because I don't waste them on unlocking dumb doors.
Okay. Right on.
So I don't need the master key. I got it once using a guide, but yeah, since the way that I play it now, I don't even need it. I'm flush with keys. So yeah, man.
You're key rich.
I'm key rich, cousin of Richie. So I bad. So,
Slanging them keys.
yeah, I miss, okay. All right. I had a drug joke in there, but I couldn't get it to work well. So yeah, man. You been playing anything else?
If you were an artist, your first name would be Alicia.
There you go. Okay.
No,
New
that's it.
York.
Castle of Illusion is amazing.
Sweet. I don't know. I will have to look to pick that up. Those December games released a little bit before we started recording. I started playing V. I think I got 6 in there. That game, it starts so strong. It gets hard as shit, but man, like right out of the gate, it's just like just nodding your head along. Like this is
Yeah.
so great. It runs great on the Vita. So, well then, as far as what I've been doing, Dustin Westworld ended on HBO.
Yeah.
I remain unimpressed with that show. I don't see why people like it so much. But I don't know. If I happen to be subscribed to HBO, I'll watch the second season or whatever. Or if maybe when it's very unlikely I'll watch season 2 unless it's like outrageously convenient.
Maybe it's like baby's first sci-fi.
What?
Baby's for like it's their first sci-fi program. So they're like, oh, okay.
HBO's?
Like the people watching, the fans.
Oh, that. Well, no. I mean, there's some pretty, I guess, well-versed nerds. I don't know. It's just like that love the show. So I'm just surprised. There's a lot of exposition at times. Like there's the third episode. All they do is tell you about shit. Like they don't use any sort of like visual cues or anything. Like not even tropey flashbacks. They just straight up tell you in conversations that these people wouldn't be having, but it's beneficial for the audience. It was it was just not that great. So don't go out and watch Westworld. If the hype's getting to you, you can hold off. You're not missing a lot. I don't think. Dustin, I've been playing some more Forza Horizon 3,
Okay.
and I'm being stubborn. I'm using automatic or manual transmission,
Ooh, all right.
and I'm getting used to it. I'm not doing very well. If it was a real car, I'd be fine. But this video game racing shit, I'm not very good at. And I also, one of the beautiful things about Forza is even if you suck and lose the race, they still give you a lot of experience. Like you still get progression, right? Just for playing. But in my mind, I've played too much Mario Kart, and if I don't finish first, I don't want it counting.
Yeah.
I'm not chasing any sort of like achievements or anything like that. I just hate not winning, and
You're too good for participation awards.
that's right. they can give me halftime stuff. Like, even though we were getting our brows beat in sometimes in soccer, I was okay with the Jello snacks at halftime. But no trophies if you lost, right?
All right.
Get a participation snack. Um, so I'm accepting the fact, Dustin, that I think I'm going to knock the difficulty back to
Okay.
automatic transmission, just so I can just get back to enjoying the game. Excuse me. I didn't set up my cough switch since I reinstalled OBS. So sorry about that, everybody. I just need to let myself enjoy it more. You know,
Yeah.
I love the game so far, and I'm restarting races, and that is the wrong way to play Forza.
Yeah.
Go back and play it again. And there are so many races, and what's funny is that it's called Drivatar, which is a really terribly dumb name, but it is really neat. Like I was mad at Tony legitimately because I'm racing, and all of a sudden Classic Elite just races ahead of me and clips me for the win, and I'm like, ugh! Like I was actually like frustrated with Tony. So it's cool. Like your people that you're friends with on Xbox Live, you can challenge them to races, and it, according to them, it, races like they used to or whatever.
Okay.
I don't know. It's neat to see your buddies racing around and not behaving like regular dumb AI. I don't know. It feels a little bit deeper than the gimmick of having your friends' names just flash on random cars, which is cool. So, and again, it's beautiful. It runs well. I'm excited for you to eventually play it someday. Either that or maybe when 4 comes around. But since you like the first Horizon so much, I know you'd really like this one too. So if you end up with an Xbox One or you get a new graphics card or something, I'm excited. I think you'll really enjoy it.
I have a lot of Xbox One games that I want to pick up now. There's a pretty good library out there now.
There really is, and I'm really thrilled that they're also releasing them now on PC as well through their store.
Mm.
And it's pretty neat to hit the Windows key, type FOR, and enter, and it just boots into the game. Like, what's that, five keys? I can set a macro to start Forza. Like, don't have to mess with Steam. Like, that's kind of cool,
Yeah.
So, although it had trouble installing, and on 3 occasions, it would get, like, 20 gigs into, like, a 50 gig download and just say, whoops, sorry about that. And it just vanished. It's gone, and I have to start again. So that eats up my data cap.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's just a middle finger to your bandwidth.
So it probably took me 110 gigs to download Forza.
Oh my gosh.
So Windows needs to get that fixed, but it's cool. I do love the game, so I'm not regretful of the purchase. Also, I did some eBaying, Dustin. I purchased 1943 on the NES. It's one of my favorite shooters of all time. I love that game. And the real reason I bought it was because I really only have Life Force and also Dino Ricky, but that's too fucking hard. But I've got Life Force on the NES, but I needed another shooter, right? I don't have Galaga, and I love 1943, and the reason I need a shooter is, remember about a month ago, Jeremy Huber from the Cartoon Retrocast sent me the NES Advantage?
Mm-hmm.
Now I've got an arcadey game to play with the NES Advantage. I'll crank that turbo knob all the way up, and I will just fly around. What's really neat about 1943 for the NES compared to 1942, and actually a lot of games that are just shmups, whether it's lefty rightly or uply downly, which is an old reference to an old podcast. Whether it's left to right or up and down, there usually wasn't a lot of customization to your craft outside of picking up items in the middle of the stage. In a 1943, you can put skill points in, much like in RC Pro-Am. You can put it into like defense or offense, some other, I think maybe speed. There's 4 categories, so you can earn skill points and build your craft in the way that you want, which
that's
is
cool
for the NES. That's really neat.
Yeah.
For me, I opt for maxing out my offensive power,
Hmm.
thinking that once I learn the patterns, my skill will be fine.
Hmm.
And it will just kill big planes that come in a lot quicker. And
Hmm.
what's neat is you do have health in this game. So it's not, even though it's not even a bullet hell game, it's not one bullet, you're dead. It runs
Sweet.
much better than 1942. The music's better. There's more variety in the bosses and stuff like that. Much like all shoot 'em ups, pretty much, there is a special power button that you can unleash that'll wipe everything out on the screen or do significant damage to the boss. So, yeah, thank you very much, Jeremy. Shout out to the Cartoon Retrocast. They just did a
That's awesome.
great episode on New Kids on the Block, the cartoon. So it was a good one. I really enjoyed that episode. So thanks, Jeremy, for sending that over. I'm excited about that. Yeah, I'm gonna be streaming, like I said, Zelda for the Famicom and Super Mario 2 over this month. This weekend, I'll be the one streaming. Probably Saturday, maybe Sunday as well.
Hmm.
I'll be playing one of those games. Probably Zelda if I stream on Saturday and Sunday. Try to get as much of that in as I can.
Man, those are some good
But
games.
yeah, well, I need to show off the AVS, and so I'm gonna play some good
Yeah.
goddamn games with it.
Yes.
And then my Genesis amp project thing. I'm
Hmm.
not doing that. I got my amp fixed. Sounds great with my guitar.
All right.
Does not sound as good as I remembered it sounding when I was a kid doing my Genesis hookup, where I would take the headphone jack from the Genesis and plug it into my guitar amp, throw on the drive select, and make it sound like heavy metal. I realized why I thought that sounded so awesome when I was a kid. Playing on a really shitty CRT TV with mono sound, and you know what I mean? Anything would have sounded better.
Yeah.
So now that I've spoiled myself with low end of audiophile equipment, but still some audiophile equipment, I don't like the noise of that anymore. Now, if I don't have the drive select on, it sounds amazing. It
Uh-huh.
just sounds good, but it's not going to make a video.
Right.
It's like trying to show through video 4K. It doesn't.
Yeah.
If you don't have 4K display, you can't see what 4K looks like. It's not going to go up like I thought it would. However, playing the Genesis with the HD Retrovision cables and my guitar amp on a clean sound is epic. It really is awesome. It's
Awesome.
super loud. The crack of the bass, real crisp and pure. And the guy that fixed my amp did a phenomenal job. So I am tickled that I get my old guitar amp back in perfect working order. My old guitar, this shit's vintage now. I got it in the 97, 98 kind of era.
Man.
My guitar is appreciated back to its spending price. Because now people are
That's
actually looking for those style of guitars. Because it's just that it's got that Nirvana Pearl Jam crunch. So, good old Fender Stratocasters.
Is it 20 years or older and it's considered antique?
I think
Is that?
25. I've always heard that number.
Oh, okay.
That could only be for cars, maybe. Maybe it is 20. But I know for
Okay.
cars in Ohio to get historical plates, it has to be 25 years.
Okay.
Which actually doesn't feel that old considering I feel like a young man and I'm in my mid 30s.
Yeah.
It's 25 doesn't seem like that big of a deal.
Yeah.
I think it should be substantial. Make it like copyright law. That shit's got to be old before you get
Right.
that, you know?
Triple digits. So
If you
shut
have an
up.
auxiliary cable input, it's not an antique ever. I'm sorry. I'm just kidding. I know everything's relative. Also, I did receive Mickey Mousecapade. I got that on eBay. I don't know if I talked about actually receiving it. One thing I wanted to mention is I totally forgot that was a Capcom game. I don't.
Huh.
Now it makes sense why I liked it so much and why I have these fond memories. Almost
Yeah.
every Capcom game I played as a kid, I loved. So this is probably their worst NES game,
Hmm.
but that's the worst Marvel Cinematic Universe movie or the worst like Lord of the Rings movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
it's
still
still gonna be
like it. I
awesome.
still like it a lot. Not a lot of people do like Mickey Mousecapade, but I think it's really fun. I don't know. People hate the mechanic of having Minnie kind of be with you, but it
Mhm.
adds a puzzle element to it. You have to be careful around enemies, and you can be real strategic where a lot of levels are split in half. Like you go into a room of a house and it's kind of split in half, right?
Mhm.
You can make it so that you can get on the upper half, kill enemies, and leave Minnie down below, and then when the enemies are dead, you can like get her to come along.
Cool.
Also, if she dies, it doesn't kill you. It's when Mickey dies. So you can find her later. She doesn't get hit by enemies, so it's an interesting try. It's not perfect, but I like it. So I'm happy to have that game. All right, man. Let's get into comments, and then we will call it a show.
All
Uh,
right.
Dustin, I screwed up last week as well. It's 2 weeks in a row. I forgot a comment. So our good buddy Tony wrote in an episode 207. And he says, I like the new segment, Dustin. Great idea. This is related to YouTube channel of the week. He
Mhm.
says, you should email the channels that you cover in each episode, both for cross promotion and for connections with the cool network. You guys have me wanting to play Sonic. I like I have the time. He said that the line of the week from last week was Cooter. I thought you were referencing Watch Dogs 2. Another great episode, guys. Thanks. I forget the context of that. Thanks for giving more life to my work days while I listen at work. It reminds me of Whistle While You Work. That old Whistle While You Work. Didn't Mickey do
Yeah.
that? So yeah. So Tony, thank you for the comment there. That's a great idea for networking. I'm gonna be honest with you. I hate emailing people about like that, like, hey, I talked nicely about you. Come listen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if any of our listeners would like to tweet at these people or message anybody, feel free to do so. I'm just too embarrassed to do that.
Yeah. I suck at networking.
Yeah, I'm okay with getting interviews and stuff, but just straight up saying hello, I get kind of shy. I'm embarrassed about my ums. So, uh, and then also, so we got some good stuff from Domez as always. And then Tony wrote another episode that I'll let you get to, Dustin.
Alrighty.
Domez starts off and he says the author of VVVVVV officially states that the way to say it is the letter V 6 times. When I mentioned it, in the back of my mind, I kept wanting to talk about the name of the developer, but I couldn't remember his name, but I knew it was a well-known name in the gaming industry. As Terry Kavanagh. You also might know Terry Kavanagh. He had another Smash game with Super Hexagon. Did you ever play that on mobile?
I didn't play it, but I'm aware of it.
Hard as hell. Another great thing about that was Chip Zell did the soundtrack for that,
Mhm.
and I have such a huge crush on her. So that is like she's real cute and makes this amazing chiptune music. Like she's from Ireland, I think.
Hey. All right.
So all around, unobtainably cool girl. It was neat to see like that kind of all come together. Yeah. So if you've never played Super Hexagon, I don't think it's a free game. I think it's like $1 to $3. It's super hard, but it's really really fun. Also, Dumbass says that he's got a recommended channel. I'll feature that later. Don't worry. He says Barba Ran will always be, for me, gibberish. For a really cool Frankenstein movie, check out Frankenstein Unbound. I've not heard of that movie. Have you?
I have it. I'm gonna see if they have it on Amazon Video. See if I can rent it.
Cool. He says Smooth McScott singing Mega Man. If I find that tape, I will. I did. Jeremy at the Cartoon Retrocast Facebook group, he was asking people to put up pictures of them in like of them in '80s and like cartoon clothes or like old throwback cool stuff. Like if you had a Star Wars shirt on or whatever. When I was about 3 or 4 years old, there's video of me on like a spring-loaded rocking horse singing Ghostbusters. So I put that up in their Facebook group for people to watch. It's pretty funny, but it just screams like 1985.
Yeah.
Like the way the camera moves, it's all blurry and stuff. It's like underexposed. Looks like I'm in a dungeon. You hear my mom like trying to move the camera the right way. She's got her hand in front of the lens at one time. It's good stuff. Also, Dumbass says, Clock Tower on Super Famicom. At the start of the game, you go inside to save your friends, but if you choose, you can leave and go home. Leave and go home, and your friends are lost forever. Game over. Worst ending. That's pretty funny if they actually gave you the choice and I play the game and then ended the game. Like, not force you to keep playing.
That's cool.
And then he also says for Genesis sound bites, also check out the Shinobi games. Totally agree. He says, I forget which one has great music, maybe both. I forget, but at least one of them is done by a really great Japanese music guy. Shinobi 3's got amazing music. I can't vouch for the other ones, so that's the only one I've played on Genesis, but it's got great music. I love Shinobi 3. The sprite's a little tall. Tall and rigid. I wish he was a little more squat. And then he also says, while I do not use command line, this is when Dustin and I called him out for being a badass PC guy. He says, while I do not use command lines to run my programs, I of course could. I do want to be clear. I do not run apps for my start menu either. I press Control Escape and then I type the program that I want to run, then press Enter, so no mouse needed. Very fast and efficient way to do your job. Totally. Have you ever seen any videos of Photoshop editors that don't use a mouse?
Mm-mm.
They have like this tapestry of shortcuts. And so they can do everything. It looks like a pianist. It's wild.
Sweet.
It's very cool. It's very impressive. So you got to love good artists there. We didn't get anything from Zarek, but I do want to mention that Hotline Miami stream. He's done 2 parts of it now. I'm watching him play Hotline Miami and loving it. And at one point, he gets to where, about a half hour into the video, he gets a samurai sword.
Mm-hmm.
He has the most appropriate reaction to getting a samurai sword anybody could ever have. The joy and glee and laughter and the, oh my God, this is cool. And like the thing that I really enjoyed about his stream was whenever somebody plays a game that I really like, I hope that some of the same things that I liked about it grab their attention as well. And like early on, I liked the visuals. Early, I liked the way that it showed you how the game was played, but it's not easy. And I love the way the music drug you in, and just the aesthetic and the feel. And like point by point, everything I liked that started that game off, he was like, "Ooh, I like this. Oh, I like this. This is cool. Oh, that's hard, but this makes sense." Or he'd get frustrated about something in a similar way that I remember getting frustrated. And I'd want to be in chat being like, I don't want to spoil it, but I know where he's going wrong with this. And he actually noticed a couple things that I didn't. So yeah, it was great. If you haven't played Hotline Miami, I heard the second one's not as good. Hotline Miami 1 is I love that game from that last generation. That's one of the best.
Man, I forgot there was a 2.
Yeah, it was really, it wasn't that well received. So yeah, shout out to Zarek. Great stream, and I'm gonna finish the second one here the next couple days too. So so we got something from and also one last thing, Demez. I did finally get him that Mario thing I promised him 3 months ago.
Right on.
It was an hour and 12 minutes of me playing Mario poorly.
Oh yeah.
But he enjoyed it.
I haven't watched it yet.
Don't watch it. It's bad, but
okay.
I think he likes watching how close but how far I was away from figuring stuff out. So he enjoyed it. So if you'd like to watch me play a Mario Maker level, let me know. I will play it for you. It's a super fun game. So thanks for the motivation, Demez. That was fun. All right, we got one thing from Tony, and then we'll call it a show.
All right. Tony says, Scott, I love the post about your sister's Instagram post at Thanksgiving and you saying whatever the kids do these days. I know you're anti-social media ways, so I have been secretly running a Facebook account for you the past few years. Lol JK. I agree with the Captain America movies. I was worried after Avengers 2, which he said sucked in his opinion. Sucked. I wouldn't say sucked, but it was definitely like, that might be the lowest point in the MCU for me at this point.
That and Iron Man 2 are probably the ones I like the least.
Which one was Iron Man 2? Was that the one with
the wrestler
the guy,
had
the
the electrical whips?
Okay, yeah. That was, yeah.
I can't remember. Mickey Rourke. That's who it is.
Yeah. That's his name, yeah. But after watching Civil War and Deadpool, I'm amazed how Marvel movies continue to adapt to get better.
Yep.
Civil War was so good. I have a recommendation for the channel of the week next week. Shintai Reviews. Shintai is an old friend of the show that I still chat with. He does some of the most well thought out JRPG videos, and he is worth a shout out. As far as Resistance, Dustin, I enjoyed your stream. I really enjoyed Resistance 3. On that note, I found Resistance 2 complete on eBay for like $5.
Perfect.
Yeah, so it's on the way.
It must have sold really well and be really, it was critically acclaimed. So it's cool that it's $5.
Yeah.
Or I guess it must, since it's $5 and critically acclaimed, it must have sold a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, I just love that you can get awesome video games for $5.
Right?
That's so cool.
I mean, honestly, like, even on Atari, but we don't have Commodore or MSX or anything like that, but as far as like what we had here in North America, there are games that hold up substantially well starting at the NES and on.
Mm-hmm.
Like every system has really good games that are still great today. So That's cool that Resistance 2 is one of those.
And when it gets here, I can try that.
And I guess I got to go back and also give a shout out to. I was gonna spotlight Shintai. He is an old buddy of ours. We'll actually give him a proper feature too. We'll do it for Demez, but Demez also said Rabbit Luigi is someone to check out. So keep that in mind. But yeah, we'll feature Shintai at the appropriate spot. He's a super cool dude. I think we still have him in our recommended box. Not that people check that. I never took him out, so
who knows? So he's
definitely still there. I rearranged it recently. I added Zarek and Dumez.
Word.
Retro League. I'm pretty sure Shintai. Rich over at Review Tech. Hapog, I think. Huh?
Hemrock.
Hemrock's, is he still there?
I don't think so.
He's on my Skype. Good old Retro League callback.
Yeah, man, I wonder what he's doing now. He was a cool dude.
Doug. Yeah, he was an awesome dude. I wrote him a letter when he left the cast saying, "Hey, thanks, dude. I really enjoyed you being on it." I'm sure he's doing good things. He was awesome.
Yeah. What were we talking about? Yes. So you should check that one out on PS3, Resistance 3. I'll see what that's looking like on eBay. Hopefully it's just as cheap. I played through it while on vacation a few years back. Scott, Forza Horizon 3 is on my list for Xbox One, but I just have not pulled the trigger yet.
Do it so I can get revenge.
Yeah. Just wait, man. It'll be $5 eventually. Line of the week in this podcast. They charge extra on Tinder if you are older to get the good premium stuff. It's the gamification of banging. Another great episode, guys. That was from Scott, guys.
Yeah, I said that. So it's funny, the throwaway comments sometimes.
Yeah.
You never know it'll stick. So, Dustin, that wraps up the show. Anything else you wanted to mention before I run through our social media jargon?
Shop smart. Shop S-Mart.
Shop S-Mart?
Yeah, that's from Army of Darkness. I don't know why that popped in my head.
Okay. I've not seen that. That's like the comically bad, like vampire witch Dracula movie, right?
Comically bad.
Army of Darkness, right?
What the hell are they called? Deadites.
Okay.
They're like demon skeleton
But I
zombies.
mean, the movie's known for being like comically hokey, right? Like it
Oh
was
yeah.
called. Okay, okay. Just making sure I'm thinking of the right movie. Yeah. So Army of Darkness, good stuff. So all right, everybody. Well, thank you very much for listening to episode 208. We want to thank Ben Landis for letting us use his song "Through the Forest" as our intro music. You can get that in our show notes. Go support that. It's a good album. Also, if you're interested in listening to us just through audio, we're available on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher. Most podcast apps will find us. If not, let us know. We can subscribe to that service or whatever. Also, we are on Twitter and Facebook at Classic Elite. That's Classic L337. That's also the URL for our YouTube channel, so make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. On Twitch, we are classic_elite. Our website is classicelite.com. Our email address, if you'd like to write us an email, is classicelite@gmail.com. Dustin, I think I've exhausted all of that stuff. I don't think it matters, but it feels obligatory for podcasts, right? Like,
Yeah.
if there was a podcasting manual, they would say, rattle off your social media at some point in the show. Everyone does it. You kind of got to do it. Also, we don't have an official announcement yet, but it's not going to be like a Patreon because I'm still too nervous about watching zeros month after month on Patreon. But there is a way that we are going to have for you to be able to support the channel. So once we get that all figured out, we'll talk about it on the show. It hopefully will be a nice thing for everybody. Very passive way to support the show. So yeah. For outro music this week, Dustin, there was a badass song posted on SoundCloud. I'm excited to show it. It's a little longer than normal. It's about 5.5 minutes, so I'll try to ease that up. I'll have some nice undertones have already been playing at this point when I go and edit this stuff. But it is from it was posted on it's Proto Flight is the one that did this. Who Center? Why am I blanking on this? Center Circuit? Come on. I'm so sorry. Well, it's by Proto Flight, and this is terrible. I got to go to my SoundCloud for it, Dustin.
That's all right.
I didn't copy the URL for it. Center Cities, that's what it is, not Circuit. Center Cities, who I had not heard of until today, and Proto Flight, who I do follow on SoundCloud, teamed up for an awesome song called Apart. They have it labeled as just a demo on SoundCloud, but definitely go give it a like and support it. I think it's a really cool song, so hopefully you'll enjoy it, and we will see you next week for episode... Ooh, I realized I misspoke earlier. We'll join you next week for episode 210.
Boosh.